What's up guys, I'm Sean. So I already have a huge wing on my track car. It helps with the rear end downforce. Now it's time to add the splitter and canards for the front end downforce. Today we'll be installing the HARD Motorsport's front splitter kit. The splitter is on the top and the brackets are on the bottom right. On the bottom left are the AJ Hartman canards that we'll be installing in the next video. Get your car safely on jack stands and remove the front wheels. Now we're going to test fit the splitter. Put a piece of wood underneath it and put it on top of a jack and then jack it up. Make sure the splitter clears your wheel well. And then we're going to measure the corners of the splitter to make sure that it's centered. Because the bumper is rounded, I'm going to use a block of wood to give me a flat point to measure. Once it's even, I'm going to use a marker and trace around the front bumper. We're going to be removing the bumper and the splitter a few times, so the measurements will help us center it again. The one downside of the splitter is that it is too short and doesn't reach the metal subframe, so I'm going to add an extension. So now we're going to lower the splitter. We're going to remove the fender liner, the under tray, and the front bumper. The front bumper should only be held on by a couple of screws. With the bumper cover off, we're going to remove the few bolts holding the reinforcement bar to the car. Once the rebar is off the car, we can test fit the splitter bracket. The nice thing is that it mounts directly to the frame of the car, and the bracket slides up and down for adjustability. So the bracket interferes with the under tray bracket. You could either remove it or bend it. I left mine there because it helps with my brake ducting hose. Now reinstall the rebar and tighten it all back down. So the splitter bracket is nice and tight. And now we're going to snug up the sliding bracket so it stays in place. Now temporarily reinstall the bumper cover and check clearance to the splitter bracket. If it interferes, you may have to trim it a little bit. Now put the splitter on the jack and put it underneath the bumper. Line up the lines that we marked out earlier. And then we're going to go inside the bumper and we're going to trace around the splitter bracket. Now lower the splitter, remove the bumper, raise up the splitter, line up the marks, and then mark where we should drill. So we want to drill a hole big enough for the splitter bolt. Put a 2x4 underneath the splitter. And then I'm using a step bit just to get the hole slightly bigger than that bolt. Test fit the bolt, everything clears. So now I'm going to address the gap between the splitter and my subframe. I don't like it open because it exposes my steering rack to the elements, as well as it affects airflow. So you can use a piece of wood, but since I have Lexan laying around, I just screwed it to the splitter. It's a little short, but it works. Now we're going to install the splitter, jack it up, and then you see my Lexan goes to the subframe now. And then install the bolts that come with the splitter brackets. Tighten that all up. Before we tighten the brackets that allow it to slide up and down, we're going to install the bumper, and then we're going to go inside, and now we're going to tighten the brackets. So the splitter is pretty much mounted. For the corner, what I did is I just screwed it to the bumper cover with a bolt and washer and nut. Now you can peel off the protective cover on the bottom of the splitter. For the extension that I added, I just zip tied it to the subframe plate, but you could screw it on if you like. Then I reinstalled my brake ducting hose and put everything back together. So my next video, I'm going to show you how I installed the AJ Hartman front canards. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.